Hello, we are live and welcome, gentles all, to Bardic Inspiration. This is Dungeons and Dragons in Shakespearean Style. I am your Dungeon Master, Adam, and with me this eve, at long last, after a hiatus all too long, are the Magical Cane Band. They are comprised of Meg, Rick, Matt, Donna, and Catherine, who will be playing the wonderful band of Alora, Broccoli, Budge, Finn, and Rain. They have been a traveling magical troupe of players getting into hijinks all throughout our homebrew world of Eorn in the nation of Eston. They have charmed dragons. They have befriended witches. They have gotten involved with some organized crime. And they have achieved so many of their accomplishments through the magic and power of theater. So, I'm so excited to be back with y'all, and thank you to anyone who is joining us on the stream right now or later on our YouTube channel. You can follow us at Bardic_inspo on Twitter, and I do have one sort of announcement or thing to share with y'all before we get into our recap and get started on tonight's session. For those of you who follow us on Twitter, you might know that we made a poll recently to see which Shakespearean character you would like to use as a non-player character or an NPC in your D&D table. And the winner by an overwhelming landslide was Mercutio. So I'm going to show you the results of that now. There's Mercutio. You can find a link in the show description to the tweet where this is featured, and you can download and use Mercutio for your own game. They've got some really fun abilities that I would love to use. That's why I put them there. I'm probably going to at some point. So please enjoy Sexy Tiefling Mercutio, and maybe Queen Map will be with thee as a result. Also, follow us on Twitter if you want to vote in the next poll to see who the next Shakespearean character will be, or leave us a comment here in the chat if you're curious. I'm always happy to hear. We've got a few kind of runners-up that are in contention, but who knows, that could change. Let me go ahead and switch back then. And we will go ahead and dive into tonight's session with the Magical Cane Band. First, what I would like to do, we've been doing this with the Headless Marys the last few sessions, and I love it, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to get our cast to recap our last session. 6 long weeks ago it was with the Cane Band, so we're a little bit dusty. Had to review some things. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes, and in that 2 minutes, your job is to remember as many things as you can from what happened in that session, and then we are going to dive into our play for tonight. Okay, so on the count of 3, 2, 1, recap.
Rain's trying to get Budge.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, now we started the morning with an inspiring speech from Broccoli, because that's one of his features. He can imbue people with extra hit points with an inspiring speech, which was fun. But considering it will most likely be a morning ritual, he might start to wear thin on the troop every morning. Broccoli revving them up. Sorry, I'm taking time.
It definitely won't, because they'll get bonus hit points from every speech he makes. Rain slept off her hangover that she developed after Glee turned into a book and left her. So first love over and done with for the 16-year-old. And
more to come.
isn't going to commit murder anymore, and is very excited that Broccoli is going to give in to the powers of the werewolf, and there'll be 2 werewolves in the Cane Band.
As Rain mentioned, Glee turned into a book. Alora translated the book and discovered that there was a primordial power in it that tried to wipe her brain, but she nat 20'd the save, so she remembers what the book says.
Mother Sawyer's house. Walked away.
Gone.
We started following it and then couldn't be bothered, I think, was the general vibe on that one.
It's hard to track a house, and especially one that can travel through water and has much longer legs than any of us do.
Yeah.
So we tried to figure out what the hell are we doing next?
Yeah, we took stock of all our loose threads, I think.
And there are many loose threads, enough for a whole jumper. And so we decided to try and get some answers from Budge's family and clan, the Heruatrews.
And do
10
a
seconds.
show for them.
And do a show for them.
Yes.
Blow their little minds.
Finally do a show. We haven't done one in so long.
So we're
That's
off
it.
to the Moonwood.
Yes. Bloody well done. Good stuff. 2 minutes. You're hustling. So much happened in the last session and the session before. As you all mentioned, you are in the swamps outside of the town of Gadmouth near Lake Lewin. It is a place where in the past you have met Hergor the Black Dragon, where you have been in dialogue with constrictor snakes and have been keeping tabs on, in your words, the multi-level marketing cult that is a new temple to Archon in that town, where lots of fancy pants folks have come in and started worshiping the golden word. And the town is also filling slowly with military presence, soldiers. You have also, of course, murdered Edwin Banks, the keeper of a large estate nearby in the recent past, and gotten, as Rain said, ruinously drunk and almost into a whole lot of trouble with the members of the soldierhood there. That said,
Yes, everybody did.
yes, everybody sculled a barrel of port wine and broke up. You're all on the same page. It is, I believe, the 17th of Snowbreak, possibly the 18th. It is the 18th of Snowbreak in the morning. What a 3 weeks it has been for the Magical Game Band. You are in the swamps outside of Gadmouth. You have just broken your camp and had your breakfast and resolved yourselves to head towards the Moonwood where Budge's family lives. It is some journey hit from here. So, Magical Game Band, you have finished your breakfast. You're got your belongings ready to go. I'll turn it over to you. What would you like to do?
I reign.
The 18th today.
Oh, the time has skipped my mind. I know not what day it is. I presume it must be, if thou thinkest it.
It is Alora's birthday.
It is. Thou hast told me. Yes. What are we to do for her birthday?
I do not know. I completely forgot.
Oh, well, methinks there must be merriment in store, but there is no town for miles. How are we to get ale and party favors and a cake? How are we to make a cake?
I do not know. Perhaps you have a quiet word with Broccoli while I distract Alora.
Tis very good. I shall see what Budge is up to. Mayhap he knows how to make a cake in the woods. Broccoli, come.
Aye.
Shh, Broccoli, shh. Just come this way.
What? Oh, secrets. Oh, subterfuge. Obfuscation.
But far off subterfuge. Far off,
right,
'cause
you can
my
count on
voice
me.
doth carry.
Here we go. Nothing to see here. The two of us here walking by, causing not a stir, and cast not thy eyes upon us, for we are but two gentle folk walking for no reason anon.
Humor him, not bad. Don't look.
I do think perhaps they've forgotten that we are wanted folk. And not far from here, the village of Gadmouth sits 100 soldiers or more who would see us dead.
Never mind, Budge. While Broccoli is distracted, we may pack up the camp most expeditiously.
What is what is Finn? Finn, what is it? What is it?
Broccoli,
Yes.
Rain hath alerted me to the fact that it is Laura's birthday today.
What?
Shh.
Thou knowest Rain this, and I know it not. Oh, she is clever in her ways.
Aye, indeed. But how are we to celebrate Alora on this day? For if we are to go into town, surely we shall be arrested. And 'tis most important we do find a cake.
Yes, cake is important. A song is also Finn. Thou shouldst an ode to Alora here start penning.
Thou knowest it, I shall, but of other party implements I have not.
I could make a bush cake. I am very good at gathering those things that are easily scavengeable, and therein mixing up a treat that would befit Alora's celebrations.
Broccoli, pray tell, what is in a bush cake?
Well, all that thou canst find. Look here at this tree. This bark, though it seems coarse and granulous, if cooked in a certain way with spices most unctuous, can provide a tasty treat. Oh no, not that tree. That tree is poison. Eat not that bark. To be fair, it looks most similar to a tree that, when cooked with spices most unctuous, the bark can be tasty. But this, poison. Eat it not.
Very good. Mayhap you could squirrel away Budge for a moment.
Squirrel? Yes, I will definitely put squirrel in the bush cake. It's not a bush cake, lest it has squirrel as its base protein.
Perhaps you could take Budge on an errand.
I shall
to
not put
find
Budge
the
in the
ingredients.
cake. Oh,
No.
oh, me and Budge, we find ingredients for the
Yes.
bush cake. Squirrel.
Yes,
Bark.
I shall go and pen some words, but we perhaps have not much time, so be quick about it.
Aye. Budge!
Alora!
Rain,
Budge! Hey, Alora. Oh, hey, Alora.
good morrow,
Hey.
bro.
Hey, happy 18th day of snowbreak.
And to thee, my friend.
Alora, come on, look at what I found over here. There's some mushrooms.
Alora will put her main bag down, but she's got a little drawstring sack that she's pulled out of her bag and is walking over to Rain. Show me, Rain.
Budge.
Oh,
Budge.
are you alright, Broccoli? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Well, 3 words for you, Budge, my good man. Bush cake time. You know what I'm talking about.
Oi, whose birthday?
'Tis Alora's birthday that we have herein discovered, and we must a bush cake make, lest the celebration go uncelebrated.
Oi, but I've not seen cake bark in these woods, or in these swamps, for quite some time.
Well,
Nor are there any squirrels either.
what? There must be There are always squirrels anon.
There are always squirrels, but they don't favor the swamps with all the snakes about. So,
Swamp squirrels have their own musty allure.
oh well, as a fellow denizen of the Dawnguard, you'd know that we are usually blessed with bountiful fields of cake bark trees and squirrels aplenty. You can't walk 2 steps without finding some cake bark.
I know, look, Budge, I know it is not traditional for a birthday celebration, but perhaps we could a swamp cake make.
A swamp cake.
Though it is not a funeral, here we celebrate this day. Perhaps a swamp cake could be befitting if we adorn it with enough, sparkly goodness.
It has never been done before, but if there were 2 that could do it, I think it would be you and I.
We shall repurpose a swamp cake for celebrating and not for mourning.
Right, but of course, to make a swamp cake truly, we must make a swamp cake in secret. So, we shall do it slyly as we travel, perhaps.
Ah, this is the plan most fitting.
Alora, these mushrooms I did spy and think that perhaps you could use them.
Perhaps we should. We can gather them. I also have something I would like to show thee, Rain.
Ooh.
I wondered, because I knew that thou hast been most melancholy of late of the loss of Glee, and I feel for thee, my friend.
And I am sorry I did get you to make those rings. Cancel the rings, Alora. No more rings.
I have put them aside. I'm not cancelling them yet, Rain May, yet. We still use them as a symbol of our unity as a cane band. But I wondered if thou wouldst like to play What's in My Bag? In this bag, I have yet to show thee, Rain. I think that they would be most delightful, for I believe I have not actually spoken to thee or shown thee of my clockworks. And so Alora will open this bag, and it's just full of miscellaneous metal objects. She'll reach in and pull out a metal cube that has a keyhole on the side of it, fish around in the bag and pull out a generic key. Rain, these are simple workings of my hand that are amusements, no less. She puts the key in, winds it up, puts the box on the ground. Now, Rain, watch closely. When she lets it go, these little chicken legs go out the bottom of the box, and the box goes around on the ground until it's wound out of steam. Rain, if thou finds my clockworks delightful, I have one that I think would be most amusing to thee. She fishes around and pulls out one and hands it to Rain. That is a man holding onto a bar over his head. So he looks like he's holding the top of a door frame, and in the base underneath him is the same keyhole as the box that she just showed her. So I hand Rain the key.
And I managed to put the key in the lock. I'm not very quick because I do not usually put keys in locks at all. There we go.
And then he pulls himself up, flips over the bar and drops down again, up, over, down, like he's a little gymnast.
Oh, Laura! Oh, I do love it! And I just throw myself up into Alora and try and give her a big hug. Oh yeah, Laura gives me a hug back.
Now, Rain, I thought mayhap thou would like to keep this particular gymnast clockwork man. I have many keys. Thou may also keep the key for thy own amusement. If at any point thou feels particularly melancholy, my friend, please accept this clockwork toy of mine.
Hi, Alora. Oh, I do. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are most welcome, Rain.
You are very clever.
Amusements that jewelers study mechanicals of clockworks and things to pass our time and refine our motor skills. It's something my family enjoys doing for no particular purpose. They're children's toys.
Oh.
But thou art most welcome to this one, for I personally find them very delightful.
Yes.
Does that make you sad, Rain?
Oh, well, I'm not a child.
No, they're not. They are children's toys, but I am 126 years old and find them most amusing.
Okay, all right. As long as it does not have no hidden meaning.
Nay, Rain, nay. In fact, this particular clockwork is most complicated in its workings.
Oh, of course, your brain does do magical things. Alora, do you still have a bag of holding?
It is with Budge at this current time.
I would love one day to hide in the bag of holding and then you to give it to Budge and then for me to crawl out while I'm inside his coat. Would that not be a laugh?
It would be most amusing, Rain. Unfortunately, it is not possible. Somebody would need to fetch thee from within the bag. It is not a simple matter of climbing out thyself.
If I ever do go missing, check the bag of holding.
It shall be the first place I shall look. But meanwhile,
Laura.
one of these mushrooms, Rain.
Hey, Laura.
Put my
Check out my flash hammer, and I use an action to make it come alight. Check it out. That's how bright it gets, Alora.
It is most illuminating, Broccoli. Well done.
If it were night, we could see. And yet, even in the daytime, it is as a beacon, guiding us onward.
Aye, and guiding soldiers to our very spot. Should we move?
Oh, how do I turn it off, Alora? How
The
is...
same way that it's turned it on, Broccoli, with force of thy will.
I think it off, and so it is.
Indeed you do.
This hammer brings even as it lights, it warms my heart.
Alright,
I think...
let us walk and talk, and then Budge can stop worrying himself grey.
Lead on, Budge. I shall, as usual, come at the back.
All right. Budge, are you going to be leading them through the swamps?
Aye, and Peeves will be helping sniff my dog. Peeves will be helping sniff his way as well. Peeves, go away!
I'm relatively certain Budge declared a secondary objective as well. Is Budge also attempting to do that?
Oh, yeah. Budge is going to be trying to find ingredients for which to make some kind of birthday treat by gathering through the forest, through the swamps as we go. Looking for. I mean, so honey would be like high priority.
Sure. And Broccoli, are you up to that as well?
Lichen. Yeah, I'm looking for lichen.
Great. Okay. Okay. So you've got Peeves helping you with the survival, and you've got Broccoli helping you with that version of the survival. So I guess what might make sense.
If I see an eel, I'll definitely grab the eel.
Good.
Budge, if you make a survival check with advantage for the keeping track, and Broccoli makes a survival check with advantage for the bush cake. You can choose to invert that order or something like that. I'm just I want to capture both of your contributions.
I'll lead the way, and I'll help Broccoli, but Broccoli's leading the charge. Like I'll point things out if I see them.
Okay. What a journey.
But with advantage.
Yes.
Yes.
So you get to roll another one. Great time to point out and thank Matt Day, the designer of Rollcast, our slick little platform that lets us have these virtual dice. Oh, less good. Second time around. 13 for the swamp cake.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Budge. Relying on some long-standing experience here. Peeves saves the day.
Yep.
Okay.
Great dog.
Right. So you've got a little over. Well, you went a bit deeper into the swamp, so you've got some hours ahead of you to get back out of the swamp, even by a very direct path towards the main road out of Gabneth. So, Budge, you're pretty confident you have found a pathway that is generally above waterline, or that you can work your way through without having to go through the proper muck. Although it is the swamp, and you're in the heart of it now, so it's slowish going even at the best of times. But Budge is nimbly showing you pathways where sometimes you can walk across downed logs to stay dry, where there are kind of mounds emerging from the ground, the brown and gray water. You're sort of making sort of S-shaped coils through this swampy area, which allows you to avoid some of the worst elements of the swamp. Broccoli, as you are going through, you had a 13, I believe that's right. You do discover some lichen that does appear growing in a sort of area that's a bit higher ground and has some rare stones. There's not many stones in a swamp, and as well as some sort of hollowed out husks of old trees where bits of moss and then lichen on the stone are kind of growing up around. There is a bit further afield off the path where Budge is leading you, a much larger depository of that, and you can see growing around those stones there are some flowers of white and pink hues and some yellows, and you can hear the gentle buzz of bees nearby them. It's probably 40 feet off the path to your right.
Well, where the bees buzz, the honey sure will drip. I should track these bees and find their nest and source their honey to make our swamp cake sweet.
I'll try and as well, given I imagine that Broccoli and Budge talked at one point during the journey about some things to look out for. So I'll say you've got Budge's jar that he keeps. Usually he used to have honey in, but it all got eaten. But yeah, so you've got that. That's all you've got.
And I've got the sound of bees to lead me on.
Okay.
Friends, do we pause here on the trail? Rest we a bit?
Oi, perfect spot to rest for a little bit. Just 5-10 minutes. I'm hoping to see the lake by the end of the day, at least.
I have an important thing that we do need to discuss, and that is, when is the next full moon?
I can help you with that. It is the 18th of Snowbreak. You would know from your whole arrangement with Mother Sawyer and Broccoli's potion that the next full moon is on the 2nd of Peas Blossom, which is 1.5, 10 days away. So neighborhood of 14 days. Let me see. Yep, 14 days.
Oh,
Ages.
ages, 2 weeks away. Oh, surely we'll have sorted everything out by then.
Well, friends, while we are here, I shall go. I'm going to go check on Webastian, who is a little ways off, to see how he travels. So I'll be just off here, checking on the big guy. Back in a tick.
If we sit, I shall continue my repairs on Finn's loot. Now sit down.
Look, I shall sit with thee, Alora.
Friendly, my friend.
I'm gonna take Peeves on a walk.
Sure thing.
Alora, do you need a cup of tea?
It'd be most refreshing of thee, Rain. Thank thee.
I run after Broccoli.
So to be clear, Rain is following Broccoli, and Budge is going on a walk with Peeves, or is this subterfuge?
It was just subterfuge. I was gonna go see if I could help Broccoli as well.
Okay. So the three of you are rendezvousing in the neighborhood of those flowers. Is that the idea? In your subtle way. Cool. Cool. So Alora and Finn are discussing loot business. So it seems.
Yes, Finn is like sitting kind of, whatever direction they walked off in. Like, so Alora, how did thou with thy repair kit string the loot thusly? Oh.
Good news, friends. Good news, friends. I have the sound of bees heard. Huh? Bees.
Honey.
Okay, so the three of you are looking to suss out a nearby beehive. Is that the idea?
Oh, you betcha.
Okay. So, I would say this is definitely a survival check. So I would say maybe whoever's leading the charge here can make a survival check with advantage, and whoever's not doing that can make a perception check if you like, just to get a general lay of the land.
I'd like to try and spot the bees. I'll do the perception check.
Okay. Cool. So if Broccoli and Rain want to both make survival rolls, you can, or if one of you wants to do that with advantage, you also can. Which of the things is happening here? Is this Budge's roll? Or no, this is Broccoli. Okay. Broccoli's got a 15. Budge with a 20.
Did you want to roll, Rain?
You can.
I got a 14.
Oh,
I missed that. All right. So, Broccoli and Rain, you following the sound, and especially using Rain's keen ears and sense of smell, Rain, you can pick up this sort of sweet smell of the flowers.
Oh, wait. Are we near the flowers yet?
Yeah.
Oh, I am also picking them.
Sure, you can do that. These are a particular kind of flower that Budge, I think, would recognize, and Rain, you might as well. These are called swamp lilies. They are kind of oddly clean looking compared to everything else around. They're quite bright, and so the bees find them very easily. They have very soft texture and they smell quite fragrant, even piercing through the sort of muddy smell of the swamp. They really have a very sweet smell to them. So Rain, you can be picking those, and Broccoli, the bees that have come nearby are kind of swirling all around, investigating you lot, generally leaving you be, but there are a few of them who are heading further off, following some of the mounds nearby to other flowers, and you can see that there's an increasing amount of flowers on the next kind of mound. If you drop a few steps through some water away, Budge, with your 20 perception check, you're sort of clocking on to Broccoli and Rain following these things. And you can see that if you sort of like take the whole picture in, looking out as you do, and knowing how these sort of ecosystems work as you do, you can find that there are kind of a number of flight paths trails that seem to be in operation here. Looking to your right and left, you can see that there's a couple more of these mounds with similar swamp lilies and drones from these hives radiating out from them. And they all seem to be converging on a point directly ahead of you further in. There's a large tree that's been kind of hollowed out. Seems like a pretty good candidate for a hive location.
Right, I reckon that the best bet's in there. Now, the hard part is going to be getting the honey. And I've got fur, so I've got a little bit of protection against it, but I'm not going to be... I won't deceive you. I do not want to stick my hand inside that tree.
Do we...
Perhaps one of you do.
Is it not that bees often fall under the thrall of a queen bee? And could we not, with our theatrical endeavors, present with rain upon my shoulders and my arms flapping as if we were a queen bee, therein to lure the bees out of the tree, allowing you, Budge, to excise some honey from the trunk they're in?
I don't think that will work.
Budge, you do not know reason. I do think, Brock, this is a brilliant idea.
Have they
Upon
ever
my
seen
shoulders.
a queen bee? For they are far too big.
I have played here characters that I have known not, but to imagine myself them, all I must do is find an emotional state befitting that thing which I must become. And I think a queen bee is not so much a stretch that I can't find the truth therein.
All right. All right, very
Upon my
convincing.
shoulders, Rain! Upon my shoulders!
I climb up upon Broccoli's shoulders.
Couldst thou antenna make with thine fingers, as if thou were the head of the bee? Yes. Oh, look upon this. Oh, now this is fine antennae. Now, with my arms flapping and a buzzing sound. Now, the trick here, Rain, is there is two of us, so we can a harmonic buzzing sound make, which I think would most befit a queen bee's sound, for they do a most mystical buzz make that one person couldst make not, but two canst emulate.
Oh. Let us knock on the beehive before the noise so that they can hear us.
Just give me 1 second. I just want to give you a good introduction before you start your show.
Yes, and Rain, we are the queen bee. We knock not.
Oh.
That is a worker bee thou wouldst portray, and this will not do, good Rain.
While they're workshopping, can I try and find some like dry grass or leaves, like any sort of dry matter? That might be a challenge, but
Yeah, you can do that. You don't have to roll for that. I would say that you know that in a place like this, just like when you're making your campfire, you have to find some high ground, look up into some branches of these old mangroves. Every so often in hollows of trees, you can find bits that have blown in there by the wind. Okay, stuff like that.
I'm gonna try and make some smoke. And I'll turn to these and I'll say, also some effects perhaps for your show.
I'm excited to see what this means.
Oh, what am I doing? Actually, I think I can just perhaps use fog cloud. Would that work the same? Do you think? Does Budge think?
Oh, to smoke bees out?
Yeah.
I think I think that Budge would know that part of what drives the bees out from smoke is the heat.
Yeah.
And the fog cloud doesn't necessarily accomplish that.
Okay. Then we'll stick with burning some grass.
Brock.
Aye, Rain.
Let us go.
Wait, we have not found the truth of our character, Rain. We must our inner queen find before we present it to the bees, lest they find us imposters to be. Regal, Rain. Thou must find a regal center within thee.
Oh,
and draw upon it.
I do not like regal people.
But thou canst use that, a sense of loathing within thee that cannot be faced, and yet must emanate from thee with a sense of entitlement.
What will be this?
I would bow to thee if I were not thy body section. Keep thy antenna high, as if 'twere a crown upon thy head. Most queenly art thou, I imagine, for thou art above me. But I sense a queenly aura coming from thee, and I feel I have found my queenly truth. And now...
Presenting the queen bee. And I'll blow this back into the hive.
Just for my benefit, can y'all hear me? Okay. I'm seeing if Pedro's listening. He was saying that my sound was doubled. I fixed something in OBS. I want to see if that's happening. Can y'all hear me right now, players? Cool. Hopefully Pedro let me know if I'm doubled or not coming through at all. I suspected I wouldn't come through at all if I changed that. But working now, then that would be great. So just to get this straight, you're performing as the queen bee while Budge is smoking them out and you're reaching in. Okay. Okay.
I think I should roll a nature check to see if I manage to pretend to be a nature thing.
That's more of a performance thing, but for what audience, Rain? For what audience, I think is the question. Okay, there is now only one Adam voice. That's what we like to hear. Surprise. Beautiful. Okay, so Broccoli and Rain, you're 100% performing. You're making a performance. If you want to just see how good it is, make performance checks.
I mean, I do.
If you like, go ahead. I think this will be about the caliber of your performance. Budge, on the other hand, make a survival check to harvest that honey.
I don't get helped by this queen bee.
Make it with advantage.
Yes.
Look at Rain.
Oh God. -1.
Every so often there is justice. I thought Broccoli was about to roll on that 20.
I know.
15.
And because it was an artificial one, I don't get to roll again.
That's true. 23 for Budge. Is that your first go? Yeah.
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, it'll be that. Okay. Budge, what is going on behind you is nothing short of an absurdist nightmare. It is like this crazy pantomime in which Broccoli is just so committed that it's like it's crossed over again a little bit into interesting, because it's like, well, how can a person believe so hard that they are a bee? That is truly, it's something. Rain honestly just looks like maybe she has eaten something really spicy and is in physical pain.
I truly wish that we get ambushed.
That is sort of the vibe that Budge would detect happening around you. As far as your actual check to get your hand in there, you do manage to quite niftily waft some smoke in, and there is a sudden uproar of bees exiting from the hive, and there's like this sort of cloud of them hovering around the place, moving.
It's working, Rain. It's working.
But you find you have an opportunity, although some of them are definitely landing on your fur and crawling around. You're not feeling any stings yet. You've got some protection from your fur. You reach down and you get a jar just full of some fresh, soft honeycomb that is dripping with honey, and you manage to sort of fill it up so that it's got the kind of liquid part of the honey as well as a nice chunky comb in there, and you can cover that up. When you pull the jar out, you are surrounded still by all these bees flying around, and Broccoli is doing his drone, and Rain is just like flopping about everywhere. And Budge, at this point, I think given your passive perception, you will realize that you are not alone.
Oh no!
Behind Broccoli and Rain, who are both dancing uproariously, there is a shape almost like a tree trunk, perfectly still, coming out of the water, 5 feet,
No,
10
no,
feet,
nope.
at the top of which is a large black dragon's head.
I will just freeze. And I will say, as this cacophony of buzzing happens, okay, the dragon's back, we gotta get out of here. And if I sort of manage to lock eyes with the queen bees, I will just like and just try to start running.
You're going to run?
Run!
Okay. Rain and Broccoli, you see Budge, eyes wide, begin to sprint, holding a jar full of honey. That's you.
He has been fooled by our
I did say dragon.
We are not a bee.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said dragons. I said dragons.
That's right. Budge said that out loud. Broccoli and Rain, you hear dragon. Budge is sprinting. What are Rain and Broccoli doing?
I might just look over my shoulder. Just have
Okay.
a sneaky look over my shoulder.
Then, as you take a sneaky look over your shoulder, you see the familiar face of Hergor.
What
The
should we
Black
command the
Dragon.
bees to do, Rain? What should we now that we are their queen? What should we?
I just want to say I'm not going to run very far away.
Mhm.
I'm running just far enough to be like, oh, if they're not running, I'm not going to abandon them.
Brock,
Yes. Yes.
there's an old friend behind us.
Is it the inspiration of theatre? Is it Dionysus herself here to lord us with our theatrical intents?
It is good.
Hagrid, the fictional character from that book I read long ago.
No, Brock.
Oh. Oh. No one here but us bees, eh?
Good morning.
Like, would you like some honey? Haha! Surprise! It's us. We're not bees at all. It's me, Broccoli. The head here is Rain, and you are obviously Hergor the Dragon.
Look, I know that we should have stopped by earlier, but we have been very busy.
So busy.
We have nearly been killed so many times.
Yeah.
We got
On the mission. We've been on the case. All of us so close. And you can count. It's going well. Is the bottom line. But these things take time, don't they, Rain?
They do. They take time, and we did kill one of the men who annoyed you so much.
Dead.
If I can see that they're having this discussion and I would have liked to hide rather than abandon these two, I'll think to Alora. I'll be like, Hergor's here. Hergor's on us. There's a dragon. Hergor's here. The dragon's here. We went to get some bees. There's a dragon. There's a queen bee, but now there's a dragon. There's Hergor.
Okay. Budge, you can make a stealth check as well.
I'm thinking that.
I think Budge has alerted me to the presence of Hergor the Dragon nearby.
Oh, this cannot be good.
Should we mayhap? Would
Aye.
it best for us to be invisible? Or do we
This-
face the dragon with our friends?
I think mayhap we should be invisible first. Although, does the dragon have keen sense of smell?
I wonder, I'm concerned about this myself. Mayhap.
Let us go and find Broccoli. Perhaps he hath hidden himself away. Or Budge may have hidden himself away.
Budge, we come stealthily in thy direction. And so...
Okay. If you do come stealthily, Alora and Finn, please make stealth check.
Boy.
What was your stealth check, Budge?
20.
20. Okay. Hergor moves slowly but smoothly through the water in front of you. And you see that's a 16 for Alora on stealth. Alora, Budge, from where you're hidden, you can see that Hergor is beginning to stand as he approaches closer. And the full extent of his torso rises up out of the water, and you can once more see the black scales shimmering with an uncanny kind of pinkish violet shimmer across them. As he stands up nearly his full height, more than 15 feet tall, and his wings flex and then slowly extend, flit water lithely off of them, and then fold back into a leisurely pose. As he strides calmly through the water, and then
I cast Hunter's Mark.
okay, you can do that.
You are so beautiful. Your scales are amazing.
Tell me, Catherine, is this Rain being very forthright, or is this Rain laying the charm on?
Oh, Rain has been honest.
Okay.
After all, Rain did not want to kill the dragon, which is why the dragon was never attacked in the first place.
Oh, I very well remember. Yeah, I'm just making sure that this is Rain's motivation here.
This dragon is amazing to look at.
Okay. Tell me, what has become of your friend?
One of them is a book, sadly. Oh, the sacrifices we have made in search of the stone. A friend, once flesh and blood, now naught but paper and words. Lost to us, hopefully to be regained with the fullness of time.
A book has brought this on your friend. You, after all, are purveyors of theater.
Aye.
Aye.
Is a story not then a dangerous thing?
In the wrong hands, mayhaps, and yet told with proper intent, stories can bring much good in the world.
Broccoli, do you have the proper intent in this tale tell?
I try to. I mean, Rain, drop a beat for me. Yeah. We tried to get that dragon a stone. We would never give up. We're like a dog with a bone. We did everything that we could think of, but it all went belly up. And now our friend is a book. Now we don't know where to look. And here you are with your scale so black, and we know that there's no turning back. It's a dragon. We love that dragon. It's a dragon. What a beautiful dragon. Dragon. How about this dragon? He is here to hear this tale. Here, listen with the dragon scale. We will tell him nothing but the truth. Hey! Was that close enough? That's the sense of where we're at in the mission, you know.
Oh my god. Okay, Broccoli, make either a persuasion or performance check. You're accomplishing one via the other, so they might have the same modifier for you, but in case it is relevant.
What my options? Persuasion or performance?
That's correct.
Yeah, persuasion.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh my. And as a side note, that's a 23. Rick, for spontaneously bursting into verse, please accept this mote of Bardic Inspiration. I wasn't going to let you use it on that same roll just in case it turned out badly. However, you can re-roll anything throughout the rest of this session one time.
Fantastic.
You are, as ever, surprising, Master Broccoli. I do hope that you intend the whole truth. Your friend seemed less excited to remake my acquaintance.
Scared of everything. That guy is a.
I believe it is the long arms. There is nowhere to keep the courage. It all drips out.
He's disproportionate. Hergor,
Yeah.
disproportionate.
I must say, an explanation for cowardice I have never heard. But then again, it is not a worry I often have. You told me, little one, that you did slay one man whom I charged thee to best. Name him.
Thanks.
Edwin Banks. You have slain him.
We did a most convincing performance and managed to slay him and drown him and get away with it. And if you do go to the castle that he did occupy, we have unoccupied it. Everyone has left it, for we scared them away.
By this time, I think, Alora and Finn, you would have made it to the area. Odds are you would not see Budge unless Budge has been guiding
I'll
you.
try and like mentally be like,
No, look, a little to the left, a little. Yeah, that's me. That's me.
And Budge, you said you went a little bit away, but not too far away to abandon them.
Yeah.
Where in relation to the group do you think you've set up to hide?
I think I sprinted. I don't think I was like a crazy. It wasn't. Even though I've hidden well, I don't think it's like my best distance work. I think I'm like 15 feet away from Glee and Broccoli, and my hunter's mark was literally just me, just like from behind a tree, just being like, and casting the spell.
Yeah, okay, so you're quite close.
So quite close, yeah, still.
Alora and Finn, did you decide to become invisible?
No, I don't think we did.
Okay. In that case, your stealth rolls before were 16 for Alora, I think, and what was yours, Finn?
Oh, it was a really high roll of 11, I think.
Mhm, yeah, that's what I thought. I remember it.
Nice.
The two of you, you get within probably 10 feet of Budge's position, and then as Hergor finishes saying this to them, he says, "Well now, it seems all of your friends who are not books have joined us in the fray." To your earlier point, Alora and Finn, he does not turn his head to look at you. What did you say, Catherine? I think we lost your volume there.
No, I do not know how to ask this of thee. For we have not fulfilled our request yet, but yet I do think if we are to strike another deal, could it perhaps include
What now?
a ride on a dragon?
Remind me, little one. What was it that brought you to me first?
We were told to kill you and steal your scales, and we did not do it. Instead, we took a mission from you and off we went to complete it. Only but a week ago.
Did we tell him that?
Hergor turns around and lays out almost flat, puts his paws forward and lays down so that he rests his chin on the back of his forepaws and is therefore basically eye to eye with you, Rain, like very close, and says, if I recall, you made a deal. And then he looks down at your leg. It seems deals have a hard time keeping their grip upon you, little one.
Yeah, if it does make you feel better, I did have to die.
Yeah, we died, so it's a hefty price to pay. The only way to shuffle off the coil on the leg was to shuffle off the mortal coil itself.
But I love dragons, and I love dragons much more than nobles.
She does.
I shall accept this compliment for its value. You are unbound, and so it seems whoever sent you hither should either fear you, or you shall hope they forget you. However, you have killed Edwin Banks, you say. And I do know that he possessed the stone which I value like mine own sweet eye, and would see returned me. Dost thou expect me to believe that you have bested this man Banks and left his sweetest prize behind?
At this point, I'll step out into the clearing. Drum Warlock, Hergor, and I'll keep going in Draconic, and I'll say, you were right. We bested Banks and took his jewel. We were betrayed by the one of our party who is not here. She attuned herself to the stone and then mysteriously turned into a book. We know not her current whereabouts, but are desperately seeking a way to withdraw her from this book, and I'll pull it out, and get back the stone which she has stolen from us and thee.
I did not know Alora spoke dragon.
So what y'all hear is like those first few syllables that Alora said, and then it's unintelligible. And Hergor pays keen attention to you. Meg.
Hello.
You worded that very carefully, and very purposefully. I am going to ask you to make a deception check, but I want you to know that I have factored in the care you took just then to affect the DC. That first. You are telling literal truths, and you have omitted a very important detail.
While she's talking, can I try and take the opportunity to change my position from
Sure.
where Hergor saw me originally run?
Mm-hmm. Tell me about where you want to go, Budge, and you will need to make another stealth check.
I want to try and flank him. So if he's lying like this to Rain, I want to be able to see the side of his head and his neck. Ideally staying stealthily, and I told Peeves to go far away. And that's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
And Rain has clasped her hands behind her back so that she doesn't reach out to touch the dragon, because that is all that she wants to do.
I believe that. Okay,
I'll
so
also do a Slayer's Prey
okay.
situation as well.
Okay.
Try and do my rhymes.
Now,
my charms.
now, Budge, your moving is going to be difficult. The lay of this land is that there is water, like muddy water, and the occasional hillock of muddy earth coming out of it. Like you're behind one of the bee tree, basically, at this point. That's the closest tree, really, you could get behind.
Yeah.
So if you moving from there is going to be an extremely high risk maneuver, and you probably will have to go a pretty good distance to find another suitable piece of cover to hide behind. However, you could spring from behind that tree and take a shot. That's
Okay. Then
an angle on it.
I'll just maybe like. I'll look for what I want, and seeing that it's not around, continue to speak my prayers to her and the huntress, and draw the arrow of dragon slaying.
Yep.
And
okay, Alora, was that a 17?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Rain just leans forward and just does a very small kiss on his nose.
Does she?
She could not help it. Hands behind her back, but the allure was too much.
All right. Rain, you have an extremely potent sense of smell. As you lean forward, Hergor does not move. And you plant a little peck right on Hergor's scaly nostril area, right on the scales between his two nostrils. They are cold, extremely cold. And you smell vividly a smell that you're familiar with, right? Given your proficiency in alchemy. It is the astringent, bitter smell of acid, like a chemically sort of harsh vapor. As you do so, Hergor chuckles, and from his nose, hot air suddenly bursts, and it is, for a moment, overwhelming to you, Rain. It fills your lungs with this kind of bitter, this sort of bitter feeling, and it will be difficult to breathe without coughing for 5-10 seconds. Hergor straightens up then, looks down at you, Alora, and responds to you in Draconic as well. Show me this book closer. You've held it out in front of you, is that right? The Mirror of Alchemy?
I'll walk right up to him.
Mm-hmm. Hergor leans down close to the book, and then you can smell this same smell that Rain could, and one that you'd be mildly familiar with as well, Alora. He puts his nose right up next to it. Loudly snuffles. And then, quick as anything, his tongue darts out. Once, twice, 3 times. Different places on the book's cover. He leans back. Your friend and the stone are in this book.
She had the stone on her person, and we awoke to her disappeared with just this book remaining. So I identified it, and Rain's sense of smell here, it suggests to us she's in this book. We know not how to withdraw her from it, however.
This book, Broccoli, we can't hear you, or are you doing that silently?
They're definitely in the background.
You're fooling. I don't know if you're fooling Hergor, but you're fooling Adam. Okay.
Well, we don't know what they say.
Yeah, that's true. It's all Draconic to you. So this is all just like
the most tense.
Yeah,
awful.
you're hearing like Lock Ersuna Di Mach Inora. This book contains many secrets. Alora.
I'm aware. It tried to steal the secrets I had read in its pages from my mind. I resisted.
You wanna make an intimidation check, Alora, with advantage, which I believe you have earned with the setup you've given yourself.
And we intimidate a dragon.
I'm not very intimidating though, but it's
No,
really
no.
fun.
Not
There's
always
one.
the person. Sometimes it's the
No,
it's the
not that one.
stakes.
If only.
Is that the same roll? Just
marginally
slightly. Okay. It seems one question remains unresolved hither, and that is whether you are all very lucky or exceedingly foolish.
It's both of those things.
You saying this out loud, Budge?
I'm saying it in in Draconic, so I don't know.
Oh, right, that's true. You have no idea what he's saying.
I'm holding two poisons.
I wish I could use both of these things.
I'll put
Mayhap.
some poison on me.
Mayhap it is possible for us to be both.
This is so. Perhaps. He then changes to common. Perhaps you would leave this book with me.
We have only recently acquired it, and it means a great deal to my friend here, pointing at Rain.
It does have my first love in it.
I would be loath for her to part with it until we have fully seen whether we can, in fact, extract our friend.
I've only ever had one love.
We are, however, on our way to people we believe will be able to help us if thou wouldst care to accompany us.
Whither would I wander with such as thee?
Further into the mountain.
Where?
I am not the tracker of this group, I'm afraid.
No. You are not. Hergor's tail flicks.
Oh, do come with us, do! Oh
I can't
no,
hear you, Broccoli.
Broccoli's muted.
Oh, no.
Quickly come back. They need to.
Oh, God.
Tension.
Tension. Do I get the feeling he knows where I am?
Hear me?
I think we can hear you now, Broccoli.
Yep.
In answer to your question, Budge, he did last time.
So I really want this dragon to.
So,
What were you saying, Broccoli?
Hey, Hergor, if that was to come with us, also, if we were to a show perform, if at some point in the show a dragon were required, would it not be most theatrically powerful if thy were to appear? An actual dragon therein representing the very thing that normally we use cloaks and changed form to represent. And I think that in this story, the dragon could be the hero. For often the dragon is the villain portrayed, and yet if the dragon were to swoop in and save all else from danger, would this not a story most unusual be? And thy voice is so deep and alluring, and thy presence so captivating.
And Stale's so beautiful.
I could think of no better performer than thee. None would expect it.
Where?
I would start backstage, wait for the cue, and then when that cue...
Where are you traveling?
Meg doesn't remember. Alora would remember the direction. I can give it compass, like north west? No. Okay.
It is southwest.
We go southwest.
In search of answers and a stage to perform on.
Well, unless you do have the answers for us.
Well, Rain, I believe that's what Hergor was suggesting when he asked us to leave Glee's book with him.
Would you destroy it?
The book. If the book contains the stone, then I shall stop at nothing to ensure that the stone is isolated from it. And where'er the stone may be, and all its sisters in kind, there I shall place mine own heart, and rest not until it is back within my breast. Then he turns to look at you.
Step from the tree and mutter, "Place this in thine breast," and release the Dragon Slayer's arrow.
I need everyone to roll for initiative.
You gonna fucking let him come to our home? My
I was very circumspect about where we were going.
And Rain, you really shouldn't complain about people starting fights unexpectedly.
I'd like to say, Adam, could I have done a steady shot on that as well?
Yeah, you had time to set up that bonus action as a thing.
I need to pee. I'm gonna die.
Yeah. So please, keep your initiative number. We would normally take a break in about 15 minutes anyway. We're gonna take our break early. I'll set up the map and everything like that. But when we return after a bit of a break, we will see the resolution of this fateful shot fired by Budge from the nearby tree. And the magical cane band is about to roll for initiative with Hergor the Dragon.
Oh, Jesus! He was
please.
about to join our group.
No way.
It is 8:43.
Before one of us hits him, it is so much worse.
Yeah.
Is it because I kissed him?
100%.
You kissed a dragon. I cannot believe you kissed a dragon. Straight to the YouTube description that goes. Okay. It's 8:43. We would normally take 15. Let's go ahead and just bang on start at 9 so I can prep this up. Those of you in the chat watching, thank you so much. We shall return anon at 9 o'clock sharp to close out this session with the second half of this episode of the Magical Cane Band and Bardic Inspiration. Please get yourself a drink, have a rest, a short rest, and return. We shall see you then, and farewell. Y'all, it's time. Budge is firing a shot at Hergor. Yeah,
Oh, God.
this is where we left off.
Can't we go back to the streaming issues?
Let's let me
Please.
show you the map. Because of my refreshes, I need to go ahead and share that on Rollcast again.
Oh no, I don't think we can hear Rain and Broccoli. We have.
A likely story,
No,
chance.
they're just being bees.
Okay. Hopefully everyone can see and hear. Okay, so we will set up some logistics.
Yeah.
I misspoke to you, Budge, earlier. Budge, you stepping forward and getting and loosing your shot is what triggered the initiative roll. Now I rolled initiative for Hergor. You all have your initiative rolls as well. Budge, you rolled for an initiative at 12. I will say something about the mechanics of this in D&D that have always irked me is that you're generally meant to roll for initiative and then decide what happens. But if the thing that triggers initiative is an action that one of you is taking, then it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Thank you, Joe, for that confirmation. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for that action not to take place, as it is the triggering action. So here is what is going to happen. Budge, you are going to have a chance at confirming that this action can take place as it normally does, because something is going to happen on initiative count 20, and it would affect your ability to properly set up what you are doing. As you step out from behind the tree and you draw your bow and are beginning to loose it at your Slayer's Parade, Hunter's Marked, very keenly marked Hergor the Dragon, suddenly the buzzing of bees gets very loud, and almost oppressively so. And I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay.
Not Budge, excuse me. Everyone but Budge is going to make a con save. Budge, you are going to make either an athletics or an acrobatics check. I suspect I know which you will make.
Everyone gets +2 as well because of my aura of protection.
Everyone but Budge, yes.
Yeah.
This is before the arrow flies.
Yes. And the result of your acrobatics check is going to determine something about your attack. Okay, keep track of your number. We've got them in the Rollcast chat there.
In acrobatics, not a dex save.
It's an acrobatics. You
Yeah, fair.
will. I'll explain why.
Okay.
Okay. The reason I asked is that a line of bees suddenly fills the area, swarming where all of you except Budge are standing. Budge, on the other hand, you've got a different problem. Onto you, from above, in the tree, drops a constrictor python, landing straight onto your shoulders. It is going to attempt to grapple you, and that is why I asked you to make an acrobatics check. What was your acrobatics check, by the way?
15.
15 is good enough. Budge, the result of that means had the grapple succeeded, you would have lost your advantage on the shot that you're taking because of all the flanks. You'd have had other problems to deal with. However, you are a shifty sort, and you manage to sort of move and distribute your weight just so that you can actually use your bow to sort of deflect the beast's head and then slip to the side and then loose your shot, which you're going to be able to. I think this is the fair way to resolve this, to keep as close to rules as we can, and make this make sense. You are going to get to fire your shot. So you have advantage on the shot because of all the flankage. However, the rest of you, please let me know if you had a 13 or better on your con saves. Yeah, so that's 3 of you. So those are successes. So Rain, if yours is a fail, you are going to take some damage from these bees.
Damage from these bees.
Damage from
These
the bees.
bees.
So can I roll it?
What are you rolling, Budge? Yeah, you will. So that's
attack.
9 points of piercing damage from the bees for people who failed. For people who succeeded, you will take 4 points of piercing damage. And Rain, you're not yet resistant to that. I don't know if you're planning on wolfing out, but just a reminder. Okay, so that is initiative count 20.
Even when we succeed, we take 4? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. You take half damage if you succeed. Yeah. So these bees have now filled this space, and they are just like swarming in and out, getting up into your armor, getting up under your hair, crawling over your skin and stinging, getting into your mouth. It's like extremely distracting, to say the least.
We were your queen. Respect the queen.
Okay, and Budge, please make your attack roll with advantage. That's not so great on the first one.
You've got to do better than that.
Come on!
Oh my god.
You risked it for the biscuit.
Okay, 22, 22, Budge.
Please, come on. If it doesn't, we're fucked.
22 is a hit.
Okay. Oh my god. All
I would
right.
like for you to please roll the cataclysm of different sources of d6s you have at your disposal.
Well, so the dragon so there's multiple things at play here. So it's because Budge is an assassin rogue, this does count
because Hergor has not made an attack as an assassinate.
This is true. This is true.
So I had advantage in the attack roll. The creature hasn't attacked in combat yet. Any hit you score is automatically against a creature that is surprised as a critical hit, and any creature that you hit score. Oh, so both those things. So the creature hasn't taken the kind of combat. It is a critical hit. Doesn't need to be surprised.
Got you.
There's
That
a
is the
critical
key
comma.
thing. It's a very, very critical comma. Okay, so I will say that for the sake of like action economy and fairness, you're getting basically to take that as your turn for subsequent rounds as needed. You will be back at your normal 12.
Okay.
But this is when you're going to get to do everything you get to do. That strikes me as a fair way to handle surprise shots like this. And if I regret that later, on my head be it. So you got some crazy damage.
Rollcast won't let me. I've hit the max dice.
No, you have not.
For real. And
What's
so
the
I'll have to roll
maximum?
it in part. It's 20 dice. So it
Oh
won't
my
let me roll
God.
all of them
I
at once.
can't believe you're rolling more than 20 dice.
So an arrow of dragon slaying normally does 60 10, but because it is a critical hit, it does 12d10. So I'll roll that first. That's a lot of tens.
Oh my God, Budge. Oh my God,
so
Matt.
so 70. Okay, so 72 is where it
So
starts.
just to be clear, the arrow of dragon slaying, this isn't a poison. It's conferring, right? Okay.
No,
It is
that is
just-
not the poison. That is just the
This
arrow.
is the magic of the item that does this. Yep.
This arrow was crafted to fell dragons.
Yep. Yep. It was.
I just double checking it just to make sure I haven't
Yeah.
messed
I just
it
want to
up.
make sure we're not doubling poison, that kind of thing, you know?
No.
Because yep. Okay. Okay.
The arrow dragons are more focused on others. If a creature belonging to this type is associated with damage, the creature must make a DC 17 Constitution saving throw. So they have to take a DC 17 Constitution saving throw for that damage, or they take half of it if they succeed.
Wowie. Okay. It's time to make a roll for old mate Hergor. You're gonna see it. Let me just make sure I've got that correct. Yep, I do. And what was the DC? 17?
17.
17. Here goes that roll.
Constitution's really high.
Not high enough. That is an 8. He's proficient in con saves too. That's a bad roll.
Is the dragon surprised out of interest? Makes no difference.
The dragon is not surprised. Does
Okay.
not
Then I
incur a
don't
surprise
get my-
condition.
I don't get my bugbear surprise.
That's right.
Cool.
Oh my God,
so
y'all.
this is for the bow's damage, hunter's mark, sneak attack, and slayer's prey.
How much?
And you've doubled the dice you need to double
Already
for that.
doubled the dice, so it's 44 plus 72. But there's a little bit more, so it gets added. I add 3 to that, just my deck. So 7. Oh my god. And I will need Hergor. If they're immune to poison, then so be it. But I did put poison on the arrow, which requires a DC. Recipes. There it is. Needs a DC 13. DC 13. It doesn't say a save.
Doesn't matter because it's a fail. It would be a con save for
con
poison if I didn't include that in the description.
So
That is a
poison
fail.
damage does not get doubled.
Not by a crit, no.
Yeah, cool. Which is wise. Cool. So it's just one more. But that's great.
It's max. Chuck in max damage. Why not? Why not? And did you add your relevant modifiers to the bow damage and all that?
I have. So let
please,
me just get a
is that-
calculator out.
Please, Matt, just tell me the grand total on this single shot that you have fired from the bee tree at Hergor the Black Dragon.
125.
Holy crap!
125 points of everything damage.
I don't want anybody to ever tell me that a ranger isn't good at anything.
Seriously, just get out of my life with the ranger hate. And actually the assassin subclass hate. There's a fair bit of it out there.
Yeah,
This is a hill I'll die on. Trash assassin. Yeah, okay. Tell that to Hergor.
Hergor is poisoned.
Yeah, Hergor has the poisoned condition.
Has the poison condition for 1 hour.
Thanks
If they're
to
not immune to
Adder Sting.
Adder Sting.
Hergor is not immune. Hergor has various other traits, but an immunity to poison, not one of those. Okay, cool. Cool. Time for some quick math. Matt Jackson.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just happy I didn't miss.
Happy you didn't miss that.
You have no idea how happy you are you didn't miss.
I am
Okay.
so happy you didn't shoot me.
I did 1 less damage than Alora is old.
I can't even fathom how much damage that just was. Okay, that was Budge's turn. That was initiative count 20.
Usually I don't do that much.
Surprise! It is now the combination of Finn, Alora, and Broccoli's turn, and you, while you're getting stung by these bees, you can hear a and then a scream, like a roar of agony, as deep as you've heard Hergor's voice to be. He rears up onto his hind legs and bellows, and it reverberates. There is, for a moment, the bees that are swarming you actually burst back as though hit by like a thunderclap, and sort of reform back into their sphere slowly. There is a ripple out from the place of contact. Budge, where do you think this arrow connected? You shot it so well.
He said the moments before the shot was fired, he talked about finding the Godstone and placing it onto his own breast. So I said to place it right at his heart.
Oh my god.
Strike.
Oh my god. Hergor is a different creature. Everything about Hergor's body language, his attitude, the way he stands has changed. The arrow strikes him and he recoils, stumbling backwards, scrabbling like mad at this arrow that is stuck in one of his scales, and he breaks it, dislodging it, and the arrowhead is still inside him, and he's writhing, rolls back and begins scratching at his own chest, and stomps back up, and then turns, staring at Budge in wild-eyed fear and rage, and then is looking back and forth, no longer standing tall, but shoulder blades and wings, the highest points of his body, crouched like a cornered mountain lion, and turns up with like this startled hiss. He has turned absolutely feral in this moment, and that brings us to Finn, Alora, and Broccoli. It is your joint turn, all at 13 in the initiative count. What are the three of you going to do? If one of you has an idea of what to do first, you can do so, or you can tag team something.
Finn looks ready to go.
Finn has a really strong impulse to get the fuck out of there and would like to grab Alora.
Wait.
I can only take one person with me. And does Alora say yes to this?
Well, I'm not going to get a choice because you're going to do it, but
Well, it depends on what you're doing. You might have a choice. I think this is involving a willing creature only, so tell us what you want to do.
I want to teleport away from there.
Are you casting a spell?
Yes. I want to Dimension Door.
Okay, so Dimension Door allows you to take one willing creature up to 400 feet away. Does Alora not want to go?
So here's the thing, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Does the boat get left behind?
You have it always just going with you. It can act independently of you, so it's okay to leave the boat behind.
If it grabs me in Dimension Doors, the boat stays where it is.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want it to, otherwise it will. Yeah.
No, I want the boat to stay 5 feet from Hergor. Thank you very much.
I'll bet. Okay, so Finn, you have got Alora. Alora is now willing, leaving the boat in absentia. Where are you dimension dooring to?
At least Finn doesn't know how far a dragon's like blast goes, so I'd say, I don't know, 70 feet away.
Okay, so if for a moment I realize you may not be able to see those of you watching on stream, I'm going to zoom out for our players a bit, just to give you sort of a lay of the land. If you go like directly left of where you are on the map, there are some more land masses there, or if you like, we can theater of the mind that bit and say you went straight down on the map and off screen. It's up to you. The terrain here is pretty wide open. There's some trees like the one you can see there in the middle, but they're far between.
Not near Budge.
Okay,
Finn wants to go somewhere not near Budge.
Got you. That checks out. Do you want to be somewhere that you can see on the map there, or do you want to go down off map or somewhere? Like, what do you reckon, Finn?
Let's go north of Hergor.
North. So you want to go like straight up.
Straight up. Yeah.
Okay. What?
Yeah. So for Finn would know. Straight up is further into the swamp. Straight down is kind of back towards the path you were taking. It's up to you though.
Let's go straight down.
Okay.
Apologies. Straight down. Just
didn't
not
mean
near Budge.
railroad your choice there. Just wanted Finn to have the context. Okay. So Finn and Alora, I'm gonna move my buggies so that I can grab your tokens. You are on the bottom row of the map here, but that is not actually where you are. That's just to remind me of the direction that you have absconded to.
Okay.
Okay. That is Finn's turn. Alora and Broccoli. What are you up to?
Broccoli, you ready? Otherwise, I'll go.
No, you can.
Yeah.
You can
So
go.
I just slept straight into his mind, the most that I can.
Okay.
So he needs to make a intelligence saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Is 15.
An intelligence save of 15. Okay, and this is your information overload feature, is that right?
Yep. Via the
You
boat.
are an archivist. Okay.
Overloading his brain with information.
His poor brain. Okay. That's a fail, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Hergor. All right.
Best day.
Uh-huh. Right then, Alora, roll your damage for information overload.
Yeah.
And describe for us what you've rolled.
So sad.
Describe for us what, sorry?
Roll first, and then we'll get to that. Look at all those.
Holy moly.
26 points of damage, psychic damage. So remind us about information overload. You've used this sparingly, so tell us what's going on.
Alora has a manifested piece of her mind in the form of a glass boat. It's on the other side of my room, so I can't show people on the... You have to watch the previous Cane Van ones to see what it looks like. And it just basically... She can cast from its location rather than hers, so it's next to Hergor's head, and he just gets overwhelmed, just some snatches of Draconic, some miscellaneous languages that Laura's just making up sound like gibberish, bit of Dwarvish, lots of Vidalcan because she probably doesn't speak that. So she's just listing everything she could think of, and in the middle of it all, in Draconic, she'll say, "I don't think my friends know this, but it's my birthday today."
Oh my god. Hergor, suddenly in this feral state, stares upward at this spectral boat, which suddenly looms down closer, ominously towards his face, and then once again screams, "No! No! Enough!" He will take that damage. He's grabbing the side of his head with one of his claws and plunging his face forward into the muck where he is standing and swiping upward, attempting to to forestall the pain that he can't seem to reach.
That's me.
That is Alora's turn. Broccoli, you are standing close to Hergor, still alongside Rain. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna bless Rain.
Okay. You can bless if they're in range up to 3 targets, I think. I don't know if anyone...
I think Rain's the only one in
Is it
range
30 feet?
now.
Yeah. Okay. Are you able to bless yourself, Broccoli? I don't even know if that's
You can bless yourself.
Then I will
Like
bless
sneezing.
myself as well.
So,
Bless
that is your action. Broccoli, standing before you, Hergor is scrabbling at his face and like looks up at you, seeing you beginning to move your hands to cast this spell, and his eyes again show this abject fear, and he recoils backwards, seeing that you're about to use magic. And you bless yourself and Rain. Each means each of you have a d4 on attacks and saves for the duration, or as long as you maintain concentration. So what else are you doing, Broccoli, if anything?
Just as a bonus action, I'm gonna channel divinity with a vow of enmity on the dragon.
Mhm. And what does a vow of enmity do? You've done this once or twice before, long ago, I
I think
think.
I gain advantage on attack rolls against it for a minute or until it drops to 0 or falls unconscious.
Okay. Yep.
So I've just got
How
advantage
does-
on it.
How does Broccoli take a vow of enmity?
He just like he points like this and pulls the trigger. He's like, ah.
Hey, you. Enemies for life.
You're fucking dead.
Oh my god, I love that. That's the most Broccoli thing of all time. Wowie. Okay, so that is Broccoli's turn. We did say that Budge got to take his action early, so Budge would be taking next, but has already gone, and truly gone. That means it is Hergor's turn. Hergor, let me just have a quick look. Get
Run away before you die!
Hergor is in agony. Is going to look at you, seeing that you've cast a spell, Broccoli, but nothing seems to have befallen him. He looks up at the boat, looks over at Budge, and then through the bees, past all of you in the distance to where Finn and Alora have appeared. He is going to stare outward at you, and then in Draconic, off in the distance to you, Alora, he is going to say, "Please, tell not the wizard where I am." He is then going to use the disengage action to move away from you and dive into the water, where he is going to disappear from sight.
Am I able to make a snapshot at the dragon?
Would
You have
I
not
have
used
time
this
to
feat yet,
reply?
have you? Yes, I think. In brief, what would you say back?
We are not thine enemies. And
Alright. As you yell that, I'll say, I am.
She says that in Draconic. I'm pretty sure.
Draconic.
So, but the thing is, Budge, please take a look at the wording of snapshot for me, because Hergor has disengaged, and I think we discussed this in the creation of this feat, but I can't remember. What does exactly the snapshot wording say there?
It doesn't say it's an opportunity attack. It just says make a ranged weapon attack against as a reaction against a creature you can see or hear that used its movement during its turn. If you cannot see a creature, make a perception roll, contest against their strength, and a perception roll to see if you can see them. On a hit, the target loses 10 feet of movement till the start of your next turn.
Okay.
But if you want to
Then-
say, because it's still in chaotic homebrew, so if you want to say that a disengage nullifies it, then
So Yeah, it is a tricky thing because this is working exactly like an opportunity attack.
It's like it's similar. It's like a ranged, weaker sentinel. I think was the idea.
Yeah, and that I believe is subject to the disengage rules. So,
oh no, sentinel bypasses disengage.
You're right. Budge,
but
make your attack roll, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna double check my positioning here. You
So ruthless.
would
Fuck this dragon.
Oh.
I hate
broccoli is next to it, and so is Rain. I'm not entirely certain Rain is threatening the dragon, but broccoli has taken a vow of enmity against it. I would say, like, you will still have advantage on your shot. Okay. That would
have
hit.
advantage.
Roll again to see if you crit. You would have advantage, yes.
Oh, cool. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to roll that. Meant to roll a d20.
Okay. Will that be your damage for when and if it hits?
It depends if it's a crit or not. No.
You're right. So it wasn't a crit. So then was that the entirety of your damage that you rolled before?
Let me just check it. 1d8, 2d6. I think not. I think there's 2 more d6 on that.
Okay. Chuck them all.
So 16 plus 5 is 21, plus 3 is 24.
24.
Have you killed one of the last dragons in the whole world?
No!
Budge. As Hergor turns and, like with feral cat-like quickness, jukes once left, right, and steps back out of the range of any possible opportunity attack from Broccoli, turns and begins to dive, and in that moment, with the turn, exposes part of his flank and ribs. You take your shot, channeling the magic of Hern the Huntress. How do you want to do this?
Can I
Oh, bad guys.
make a non-lethal strike?
Would you like to?
What?
This is Matt's choice.
You were just talking about wearing it earlier.
Yeah, it is up to you, Matt. What does Budge do in this moment with your shot? You have the shot for a lethal blow. If you decide Budge is going to pull his punch, Budge is an extremely accurate shot and has rolled very high. I will say you have the ability to do that if you want, but you do not have to.
If I do it, will it, just understanding how unconscious rules go, or like how non-lethal damage goes, will the dragon be conscious, or will it just be rendered to 0?
I will say in this case, Hergor will. I mean, you know what? I will tell you that it's not lethal. I think to know that you'll have to find out.
No, I'm killing the dragon.
Okay.
Budge would kill the dragon.
Budge would kill the dragon.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
100%.
Then, yeah, you've taken your shot.
I'll say again, like as it's turning its flank. This time, I shall aim at his own sweet eye.
So you do. Straight in through a secondary lid that is already closing to keep the water out. As amphibiously he dives towards the water, and before his nose breaks the surface, Hergor is dead.
So where is his body?
It is lying still in the shallows of the muck, just where he was beginning to dive away. His tail and haunches are still lying still on the muck, His head is now below the surface of the water. There are no bubbles coming up from below. There is no movement. Hergor is still.
In the silence, I say, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alora. Happy birthday to you."
And I change.
Well,
I change into a werewolf.
friends, the most overwhelming gift for my birthday. And I walk back over to the body, and I'm already going through in my brain the list that Roger gave us. Because they wanted us to kill the dragon, and we had a shopping list, so...
Yeah, we did. And also, like, we found out that Roger Bacon is part of the rhyme. No.
Are we still getting stung by bees?
The bees, as Hergor falls. It's strange. The bees which were behaving with such malignance, specifically toward you and ignoring Hergor, as soon as he dies, they begin to just move in their usual swarming patterns. Some of them still attending to you, but most of them going straight back towards you, Budge, back to the tree where you're hiding. And they are reconvening in the colony.
So when I get up to back up to the dragon, I'll look over towards Budge. Is Budge coming towards us?
Yeah, Budge is walking over.
So Budge, I know I did. I know I did wound it mildly inside its brain, but I really must admire thy prowess with a bow. But 2 shots, thou hast bested a dragon.
That weren't no normal arrow that I did fire. It were the one that Roger Bacon gave me, I believe.
Rain! Hey, Rain!
I'm running over to the dragon. I'm crying. I'm trying to pull the spear out of its eye.
And I'm trying to cover Rain. The dragon wished to destroy the book. The book is Glee. The only chance of saving Glee was to protect the book.
We must make the most of the opportunity that fate has given us and
Sweet.
take the pieces of the dragon that Roger wanted. We may not give him, we can hold them as ransom for him to return us Glee, but still yet, obviously we cannot carry an entire dragon, friends. I think maybe, I do recall the pieces that Roger wished for us to grab, so mayhap if thou could assist me, we could sever and take apart the pieces that we require.
Wow, Alora.
I think let's take a moment.
It's
We
dead.
have time.
It's her birthday, Rain. It's her birthday wish to chop up the dragon.
It's
And
my
who are
birthday
we?
to get to the heroic brews as quickly as possible.
But first, Rain, while the dragon is lying down, you could ride the dragon, eh? Thou couldst, upon the back of the dragon, I could flap its wings for thee if it would make thee feel more like flight was achieved.
Or Rain, Finn, hast thou a lament?
I have an option of a puppet.
Rain, mayhap Finn has a lament suited for
I
the best of
believe-
the beast.
It were often the case that after a great hunt,
Yes, Budge?
after a great hunt against a worthy foe, adversary, beast, predator, prey, what have you, we would say a prayer to the huntress.
It would seem appropriate in this moment.
Turn the prey into a puppet so we could pretend to ride it? Is that the... Is that the
That
next
was
bit?
that's usually a later thing.
I have to do it now if I'm going to do it.
It will attack Rain.
Yeah.
Perhaps
I would
Finn,
rather it did not.
would you perhaps say some words over Hergor here before we
Yes.
take nature's course and make sure that he is put to good use.
Thank thee, Finn.
Yes, Hergor, thy scales as black as night. Thou wert very worthy in this fight. Yet now we must say goodbye, and here you shall evermore lie. Hergor, thou wert never our friend, but were strong until the end. If Budge had not with the arrow slain, I'm sure we would have all died in vain. And thus, goodbye, Hergor.
And
Thank thee, Finn.
Mistress Finn, for your pains. You can use that next session if you like. That was brilliant. Thank you.
Rain?
Finn, they were lovely words, and I do see that the dragon would have killed Glee if we had not attacked it.
Did say as much.
Yeah. I do feel sad though. It is one of the last dragons.
As do we all.
Perhaps I will go inside it and see what it looks like from the inside.
That seems the wisest course of action.
I think that you might find it to be a little bit hostile inside the dragon. Aye.
I'll just climb in a little bit, and I just try and lift up its jaw and climb into the mouth.
What's your safe word? What's your safe word if you need us to come in?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. All right. And hopefully he did not eat pumpkins of late, because you might be in there saying, "Oh, he ate a lot of pumpkin," and then we're like, "Oh, quick, get Rain." Anyway, that would be fun in itself.
Okay, so Rain, you are small. Hergor is huge. His head is likely big enough to contain most, if not all of you, if you crouch and like sort of get in there. And you are also strong. So I'm not going to make you roll for actually opening the mouth. However, the dragon is positioned such that like Hergor's head is underwater and like the body is out there. So you're going to have to do a thing where you like drag the head around. If you want to take some time, you can probably accomplish that, but it'll be a bit of a job. Help?
I'm taking some time. I'm transformed into a werewolf. I'm taking advantage of my form for the next hour. I'm going to go inside this dragon and see what it looks like. I may never see a dragon again.
Hey, okay. Yeah, with Broccoli's help, I think you can pull the head around so that it's on the bank, like turned like a giraffe neck kind of, like just turn it so that it's
majestic
like a
creature.
crescent. Yeah. And yeah, so Rain, you can open the mouth.
Broccoli, we can't hear you.
He's just helping you, I think.
Oh no, I think he is talking.
Yeah, he is.
Unless this is an excellent prank.
What about that?
Yes, you've come back. A little faint at first, but you've come back. Yeah. Okay. What were you saying, bro?
I'm holding the mouth open.
Okay. All right, Rain. You can walk in.
I'm eating Rain.
Hergor's tongue is broad at the back and strong, but at the front end is forked like a serpent's tongue, and is a kind of pale, leathery, whitish gray color. His teeth, Broccoli is holding up by the snub of the nose so as not to touch them, but the teeth are incredibly sharp and thin, designed for puncturing heavy scales and things like that for his prey. There is plenty of dragon spit everywhere. You're getting it all over your feet and claws as you push them forward to kind of get in there. You can't like go deep or anything. You can see where Hergor's throat separates and opens up, and you would have to you can sort of push at it a little bit to go towards his gullet. You can see also that there are two other channels at the back of the throat, not going to the gullet, but sort of smaller, like protrusions that have gaps in them that are currently like puckered close, but can open.
Is there anything on the shopping list that Rain should be looking for while she's inside there? Easily accessible?
Perhaps someone with a bit more deft of finger to do the cutting.
Don't say that too loud. She might be able to hear you. Lucky she's inside a dragon. She probably missed all of
I
that.
just mean that we'll get one go. We'll get one go at getting it, and if we have a botched
All right.
dragon liver or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? That's rude. Rain, you want to look for?
While Rain was playing in the Mouth of the Dragon, I just walked over to Budge and said, Budge, as loath as I am to disrespect the dead so soon after its demise, but if that would help me with acquiring the things on Roger's list, mayhap it's a dangerous place here, and I wish us to move on as quickly as possible.
See, I would like to spend some time here. I think the most dangerous thing for Miles will be this dragon, and I think we should spend a while making sure that we get as much off of the dragon as possible.
Friend, I think thou hast forgotten that the dragon was in possession of a large serpentine army who are now leaderless and will no doubt shortly seek revenge.
But I could dress up
Unless they're
as
just
king of the
snakes now.
snakes.
What were you saying, Budge?
I said, unless they're just snakes now. I look over at the python that dropped from the tree and see if it's like looking at us or if it's just.
Make either a survival or an insight check, I think. This could be I would say make a nature check, actually. This isn't tracking so much as it is reading an animal's behavior.
I was going to help him with the insight, but nature.
Yeah. Insight is really a bit more for like humanoid, typical, emotional
He doesn't need me to
vibes.
help him with the nature
Yeah.
check.
Cool. So with a 19, Budge, this snake dropped from a tree onto you. Now, you know for certain that is not a python move. That is not how a python's going to hunt a bugbear. A python, for one, is not going to hunt a bugbear, most likely. That was very atypical behavior for that snake. The python now is slowly winding its way back up the tree to where it dropped down from. And watching it for a few moments, you can see it coils its way to a sunny spot, sort of makes figure eight loops for itself, dangling its tail off to let its tail grab on to another smaller branch nearby, all of which reads as very typical snake behavior. It seems to be sunning itself.
I would turn back to Alora and say, for we have slain the dragon, we can fend ourselves for snakes. And I think that if we're to do this properly, it needs time. If we're to take every part of this dragon that we can, then we should.
And
It
trust
would
me
be-
in the wilderness, Budge.
An unjust thing to... It is a horrible thing to come across, and you see it every now and again. People slaying some lord or what have you, slaying a beast in the forests like a deer and taking just the antlers, leaving the rest to rot. And I would not want to do that with this dragon. Take as much as we can.
Take as much as me as you want. I will gladly donate any part of me that you
Treat him
desire.
with respect.
Budge, I agree with you for a change. Finn, jump in. We can have a sleep on the tongue.
I shall admire thee from here, Rain,
What a change is here.
and shall commit it to my memory as though I were able to mark this image everlasting, that it shall be in my memory.
Okay.
How do you get out the teeth?
Oh, it's gonna be tricky.
Now, we're moving into what has been set up to be a skills challenge of sorts. Now, you have a list of things that you could take from Hergor.
Yep.
I will say, like, that list is what Roger asked
Yeah.
you for. If you are inspired to think beyond that list, you're welcome to. I'll do my best to keep up with you.
Sorry.
But harvesting these things,
Right back.
yeah,
Sorry.
sure, that's okay.
Black scales are valuable, I remember that.
Yeah. Do you have the list of things on you handy, or would you
Indeed,
like a
I do.
reminder? Sweet. Thank you, Alora/Meg.
The list that we are to procure for Roger, and mayhap for ourselves before we trust Roger not,
Yeah.
is
I think we all know we're going to kill Roger at some point.
beautifully
It is what we do.
4 that are obvious and 2 that might be more tricky. So the 4 ones we know the locations of easily are the heart, liver, eyes and claws. Obviously, now we only have but one eye, but still one eye.
Stupid Budge.
The other two are the gizzards and the fundamentum, which Roger explained to be a core part of the dragon.
Oh.
But I'm familiar with it not.
Oh, the fundamentum.
Now, you have also with you, Budge might have these, unless he gave them to you, Alora, an actual anatomical sketches
Oh, the map.
of
Yeah,
a dragon.
Yeah. I don't have them,
Um,
but I have them yet.
Welcome back, Matt. We were just talking, so Alora was just looking through the list of parts from Roger, and we were saying we're pretty sure Budge has the anatomical drawings of the dragon that Roger gave you. And
And we
Alora
know
was
that
just saying,
Roger needs 2 uninjured eyes from a dragon. 2 perfectly uninjured eyes.
Right.
oh my god.
I did also shoot the heart, so that was on the list.
Its chest.
Perfect dead dragon that just doesn't exist.
Nah, Rogers can't be choosers.
Mayhap I can amend it?
Oh, that's a great. Okay, so you're looking at one more time, Alora. What were the things that were on that list from Roger, so Matt can hear?
Oh, I've got them.
The
Oh, you've
heart,
got them. Okay,
liver, eyes, claws, gizzards, and fundamentum.
great.
Oh, I've got a few more. Oh, that might just be Budge's.
Budge's list. Yeah.
Budge's got a shopping list as well
Budge
on the
does
side
have
here. Sure. So now I have a DC set for each of these things for trying to retrieve them. This is, as Budge implied, dangerous work. Budge will be aware of this.
It's a literal scavenger hunt. I'm excited.
Yep. So you can tell me about how this goes down. Now, it's up to you who is taking point on things. If any of you have things you want to contribute to try to help, I can factor that in, depending on your creativity and the utility of the thing you suggest. But it's up to you at this point. What do you want to go for? And if someone's going to help, how will they help?
The question is, how long are we here for? Because if sleight of hand is a thing that will assist us, then I can drop, apologies, Broccoli, briefly drop the flash hammer and restore Budge his sleight of hand gloves with which to
So
accomplish the task.
the relevant check here is going to be survival.
Okay,
Survival is what applies to medicine can also be relevant, but in this case, this is like you felled a creature, you are skinning it. This is what hunters do.
Then forget that.
Finn, did you have a question?
Yes, I shall play some surgery music in the background and provide Budge with some Bardic Inspiration. So 1d8.
Tell us what's the vibe of surgery music, Finn?
The Doogie Howser MD themes.
No, I think it's like a more classical kind of like background, soothing, concentrating music. But if Budge would prefer something more heavy loot, then that is also possible.
Okay.
And I'll be watching him carefully in case I have any flashes of genius. He's doing it.
Okay. I've put on something a little more pleasant. So, Budge, you are inspired. Are there any other sort of actions being taken in support of this goal?
Well, I think
I just want to help.
a lot that needs to get done.
I can help.
Well, we're gonna
Yes.
need to pull the dragon out, and we're gonna need to work outside in, I reckon.
Maybe Webastian can help with some web.
Okay.
Start peeling the scales off.
Aye, we need to peel the hide.
Okay. So if you're, let's go one at a time for these things. Budge, when we get to you, you will have your inspiration dice to use. Okay. Now you have. This is a big old dragon. It's got lots and lots of scales. Okay. So then, make Rain. If you're gonna be looking at scales, I would like for you to make a survival check, please.
Can I help?
So you're all just sort of. If you would like to, Budge, you can help. This is going to take a while. If this is the
I was
case, we're
imagining
gonna.
it taking like a day.
Yeah, like
Just
you can
stay
take if you
here.
can devote hours to this, then yeah.
I was
Okay,
thinking
Rain.
We're camping here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have advantage on survival. It didn't help me.
Yeah, no, Rain. For one, you are wolfed out at this point, and like you find that when you are scratching at these scales, they are extremely hard, and yet supplely arranged so that they move very much like chainmail, but silently. It's kind of uncanny, actually. There's no clinking, no rubbing sounds or anything like that. They just sort of slide across each other like water, where they do overlap if they do. And you scratch at them and you find that, or if you use your blade, you're able to kind of detach some, but they often break.
As I try to, I just fall in love with the beauty of it again and climb onto the top of the neck of the dragon and just sit there.
Yeah. Okay. So tough going on the scales from Rain at that point. But again, you have time. This is something. I think it might be a good idea for us to focus on maybe the higher stakes elements of it.
Okay.
So the most difficult. Are you going for everything on the list? I presume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'd like to get the horns portion of the hide / the collection of scales.
Yeah, you can do that. So, but the highest stakes rolls you have to make here are for the fundamentum and the gizzard. Those are the two toughest bits, and I think Budge, you would be able to tell that looking over these sketches and knowing what you do about them. So Budge, you will need to make a survival check with advantage, with Bardic Inspiration, if you choose to employ it for that, for the fundamentum and for the gizzard. They're separate checks for separate things.
And then I'm helping, and if he needs it, I'll lend him my genius.
Tell me what that means.
Just +4, just because I go flash of genius.
Okay, so you can assist, and then for this to work, I think Budge is gonna, for you to use your flash of genius, you'll need to make a roll, and Budge will make a roll. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Nope. How does that? What?
Tell me about the feature. Maybe I'm misremembering it as your tool thing.
If a creature I can see within 30 feet of me makes an ability check, you can use my reaction to add add +4 to the roll.
I misremembered that as your Vidalcan feature that gives you an extra D4 on random
that's
skill checks.
investigating or sailing a boat. Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay,
And
in
it's
that
just
case,
simply because I'm very smart. I just add 4,
yeah,
You're smarter
you can do
than
that.
near you.
and I can do it 4 times a day. But I already did one with myself. with
Okay.
my perception.
So then, Budge, you can make this survival check with advantage, and Alora, as you see fit, you can grant this
If you roll
flash of
badly,
genius.
I'll add a 4.
Oh, so you can choose after.
I can choose
Again,
after. Yeah.
That is nifty.
So
Finn might use this opportunity to blend the loot into the background and bid you all adieu, Dragon Slayers.
Yes, that's right. You needed to have out. This is probably a good time for it anyway. Thank
But
you,
I'll see you
Finn,
next time. Good luck
for
on
your
the
fine
road.
words in verse. Have a good one.
Thank you all. See you soon. Bye.
All right, bye, Finn. Was that a 10 and a 20?
that was a 20, and I haven't added the Bardic Inspiration to it. So I will.
Okay.
Or the genius.
And while Finn's playing that, I'm singing a song really softly of everything I love dies. Everything I love dies.
That's just, what's the D8 for us?
Yes, Finn's is a D8 for inspiration.
Plus 8. So 28
28 for the fundamentum.
for the
Yeah.
fundamental left.
Okay. All right, Budge. This is the toughest one, and you're feeling a surge of warmth from your Bard Finn's inspiration, and you're being given input hints from Alora on the side, who's able to consult the drawing and show you the relevant part very quickly, and with precision, you locate the fundamentum, which is a very strange organ. It is 2 tubes, which Rain saw the opening of earlier on either side of the tongue, which are not in fact related to the stomach at all in the creature. as it turns out, as you're moving along, making incision down the throat, these two Y-shaped tubes join together and actually input to an area just next to Hergor's lungs. And the organ of the fundamentum is separate from both the lungs and the stomach. It is its own kind of, its own bag, as it were, like a bladder. Yeah. It is so like tightly packed and meshed in there perfectly that you really have a challenge in front of you to remove it without damaging other things that might be of use to you. And most importantly, you realize very quickly from the odor, the intense odor that begins to come, that if you puncture a side of this very pressurized organ, you are going to get a gout of simmering acid. It is like swollen with the stuff. So this is the real challenge here, to like tentatively slide and then move something else and hold it down and then slide a little bit more, cut a bit more. But you succeed in removing the fundamentum, cutting up the entirety of Hergor's throat to do so, which is probably going to open up some pathways for your other checks. You have a dragon's fundamentum, a black dragon's fundamentum specifically, at your disposal.
What's next? What are we doing now?
The gizzard.
Rock.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, Ray.
Make the cake while Alora's busy.
Yes, I will. Yes. With the honey.
The gizzard, Budge.
Right, gizzard. Yep.
So I'll head off and just collect as much as I can for the swamp cake.
That's the left turn at the liver, right? All right.
You need the liver also. Mayhap they can do twice at once. Concentrate on the gizzard, though.
Right, okay.
Okay.
I get slicing.
Yep. So
Just another.
your total is a 19? Or have you rolled? You rolled.
I haven't rolled yet. Oh,
One of these other
15.
rolls.
is it with advantage as well from Alora?
You're still getting help from Alora, yeah.
That's better. 23.
It's sure a good thing that you did.
It's a good thing Budge has expertise in the only skills he ever rolls.
Rogues.
Yeah.
The gizzard, the difficulty from the gizzard presents itself from its, again, awkward positioning and strange size and shape, which, if, again, you're not careful, you might find that this organ, which also processes some of the acid that is moving through the dragon's stomach after eating its meal, you might get a very unwelcome blast of it. And again, it is just full of the stuff. But you succeed in removing the gizzard without further harm to yourself. You can add that to your list of business that you've got.
Budge will be like keeping, like he'll have a pouch for like when he like hunts, and he'll gather like meats and foods and stuff. Yeah, like a sack that he's gonna try and be filling.
Yeah, and when they're separate from the dragon, they're pretty compact. Although the fundamentum is quite long, so
maybe
there's
he'll
like this.
lure it into the bag of holding.
You could do that. Yep, they would definitely fit through the opening.
Mayhap, Budge, while thou art there with the gizzard, liver is next on our list.
All right, back in we go then.
Then you can make your roll. Yeah, the risk from here on is not so much to you, but to effectively removing the organ without damaging it.
I realized I was rolling. It should be +9, not +8.
Well.
And that's for ranger expertise,
Yeah.
I believe.
16.
16.
Which is this one you're getting?
The liver.
16 on the liver.
16 on the liver is good enough. You handily find the liver and extract it.
Right. The heart, I suppose.
That's easy to find.
Uh, easy to find, yes. Easy to extract, less so.
Yeah.
A lot of bone going on around the heart.
Oh, it's not in a good state. Oh, actually, no, it's great.
Hey!
Naturally.
I was holding a different part of it.
With a natural 20.
Test, Budge.
Here, so, Budge, you have some tasks ahead of you. As you've done before with larger creatures, you know that you're going to have to crack the weakest point of the sternum where the rib meets it on one side. And so using your crowbar to get some mechanical advantage there, you're able to break through, and that's the most sensitive part, because if you go too hard, you might go forward by mistake and puncture the thing. You manage to do so, and when you do, you notice something that is extremely fortunate. And that is that your arrow, most of which is broken, but the head and the little bit of the wood is still in there, has not actually hit the heart itself. It has hit one of the prime valves as it exits the heart to go to the rest of the body, one of the arteries.
I am good.
And it has left the muscle, the actual cardiac muscle, undisturbed.
Insane. Truly nuts. Yes.
Well done, Budge. Well done.
I wish I could say I did this on purpose.
All that remains to us now is its one remaining eye and its claws, and then whatever thou wishest of thy own.
Right, I think
I can assist with the scales if thou need them.
Right then, the eye. The eyes.
Yeah, the eyes. Well, we'll say one for sure. The other one's got an arrow through it.
Perhaps we could still bring Roger its remains, and he could repair thus. He is quite powerful.
Shall I roll for each of these pieces?
Sorry, the eyes, and then what was the other thing?
The claws.
The claws, horns, fangs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say these remaining ones, the DC is low enough that with your bonus, they're trivial for you. So we'll make you roll for those. And Budge, once you're able to focus on the scales as well, they will be a much simpler task. And this is much closer to your area of expertise as well, because skinning a creature is second nature for you.
And I'd sort of like to get a good portion of the hide enough where I'm starting to think like maybe I will wear it.
Yeah. So given that it is now 10:21 and Finn is needed to abscond, and we're at the point where I think there is the most wiggle room for the amount of scale and hide you can get. I think this is a good point for us to call it for the night. And in the meantime, I will come up with a good solution to determine exactly how many scales you get that will help determine what you can use them for and what they're available to. To that end,
Wow.
thank you to our folks who are watching in the stream, both for tuning in and for assisting us with our little hiccup right after the break. We appreciate you very much. Thank you to Matt Day for designing this platform Rollcast, which lets us have these slick dice rolls and communicate with each other. Thank you to all of you, our players, for mucking in and making these choices.
What a birthday. Thanks, team.
Yeah. Canonically, by the way, it was just Meg's actual birthday, and so now Alora's birthday is the 18th of Snowbreak. That's canon. That's going straight in the show Bible. If you enjoyed what you did see here this eve, we enjoin you, please, to check out our sister party, the Headless Marys, who will be playing 1 week from hence, Sunday at 7:30. Thank you, Joe, in the chat. We appreciate you. Check us out on soothplayers.com/Bardic Inspiration. Look for Bardic_inspo on Twitter and TikTok. We'll be up to all sorts of hijinks there. Subscribe to our mailing list at Soothplayers. We are a Melbourne-based theater company that specializes in improvising plays in Shakespearean style. And when this lockdown ends, we will be doing so again later this year, God's willing. So tune in and subscribe if you are able and interested. Thank you so much. We will close as soon as I set that process up. We will close, as per always, by saying to everyone, thanks, and more thanks. Good night.